2018 was a big year for Netflix teen rom-coms. We had The Kissing Booth, To All the Boys, Sierra Burgess, probably more, but To All the Boys was really the only one that was actually like kind of good. It was much more of a down-to-earth kind of movie with a main character who was relatable and fun without being too like quirky, XD, ooh, or whatever, I don't know. But anyway, so here we are in 2020 and the sequel has just come out on Netflix, so you know what that means. Let's take a walk. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Honey. Now, if you don't know what Honey is, then you probably don't watch as many YouTube videos as I do, but still, Honey is a browser extension that finds and uses online shopping promo codes to get you the best price available for just about anything you could want to buy. It works on over 20,000 different sites, including all the big ones like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Wayfair, Target, Sephora, just almost anything really. And whether you're buying something for someone else or guilting them into buying you something, Honey can get the best price available. Go to joinhoney.com/Alex Meyers and you can install Honey in just 2 clicks, real quick and easy, and start saving money immediately. Like here, I went to the Bath & Body Works website and I did that thing where I was originally just gonna get a couple hand soaps and then all of a sudden I look like a hoarder, you know what I mean? And right before checkout, Honey found like 9 different promo codes and tried them all for me to get me the best deal. It even tells you if the sale price of something is actually worth it or not. Like here, I'm on the Macy's website buying this Martha Stewart quilt because I'm in my 30s and this is my life now, and it lets me know exactly how good of a deal I'm really getting. So if you want to save money anytime, head on over to joinhoney.com/Alex Meyers, install the extension with just 2 clicks, like I said, and start saving today. Okay, back to the show. To start off, I would usually summarize the first movie, but Laura Jean's little sister does it so well, I'll just let her do it.
His name is Peter. And he wouldn't even be dating Laura Jean if it wasn't for me, because he didn't even know she existed. But I mailed out a secret love letter that she wrote for him. Well, technically, she wrote 5. Anyway, they started fake dating to make his ex-girlfriend jealous and to cover up her real crush, but then everything got all weird and they started real dating. And now they're real boyfriend and real girlfriend, and they are adorable.
So yeah, there you go. Nothing weird about that. Makes perfect sense. Now this brings us to today, with Laura Jean being all Twitter-pated, because finally, after years of reading unrealistic romance books and even less realistic romance movies where the guy's always like, I'm gonna give up my job, my friends, my hobbies, everything that attracted you to me in the first place, and spend every second of every day with you, honey. Finally, Laura Jean and Peter are going on their first actual big girl, big boy date. And as you can imagine, Laura Jean's feeling a little nervous about the whole thing. Not that Peter over here is making things any easier.
Stop it. Why? Peter.
It's a good thing I have my backup.
This is my first date. I've never been a girlfriend before. I hope I'm good at it.
Well, you know, I wouldn't worry about it too much, okay? All you gotta do is just pretend like he's actually funny and don't be the first one to fart and everything else will figure itself out. Anyway, so we get this montage of Laura Jean and Peter driving through the city, listening to one of those cool indie songs, you know, where the singer sounds like she just really couldn't be bothered. And they end up at this place where people are writing their wishes on these lantern things, and then they share a moment.
What?
What?
What's up?
I just don't want this to end.
Well, tell that thought to get out of your head. You can't think about us breaking up on our first date.
I just don't want us to break each other's hearts.
I promise I am not going to break your heart.
All right, now, code red. Don't fall for it, Laura Jean. The movie just started.
I promise not to break your heart.
I don't think this is gonna end well. Anyway, so sometime after this, out of nowhere, Laura Jean gets a letter in the mail from one of the other guys she wrote a love letter to. And this guy's name is John Ambrose McLaren. Now, apparently, he was real excited to get that love letter Laura Jean wrote back in like 6th grade.
Dear Laura Jean, I couldn't believe when I opened that letter and it was from you. Wow. It's been what, 5 years since we've seen each other? Not that I'm mad or anything. I was so happy to get it. I just have one question. Why send it now? Whatever the reason, I'm really glad I got to read it.
Which, you know, at first I thought that was kind of weird, but then I remembered back how I had a crush on the same girl all through middle school and high school, and if there'd been even just the slightest hint of interest, like, ladies, I've gathered you here today to announce that looking at Alex's face no longer makes me throw up in my mouth, I would have just been like... So I'm with you, John.
Yours, John Ambrose.
Oh my God. John Ambrose McLaren just wrote me a letter. Does this mean he liked me in 6th grade too? Does he like me now?
Psst, hey, Laura Jean, did you forget about Peter already? Because let me tell you, that was real quick. So Laura Jean's feeling a little conflicted because she's dating Peter and, you know, he's got that voice that sounds like he just woke up 5 minutes ago. But apparently she still has some feelings for this John guy who she hasn't really thought about until just now, and she's not quite sure what to do about it. Now, over the next little while in the movie, Laura Jean kind of starts to see the cracks in her relationship with Peter, and all the little things Peter says and does that never really bothered her before are starting to pile up.
Okay, I am so sorry, Covey. Coach made us run the bleachers until everyone practically puked.
Well, you could have let me know.
I'm really sorry. I should have came up with a better plan that didn't leave you hanging.
And of course, there's Peter's ex, Jen, who was Laura Jean's best friend turned rival back in the first movie, and Peter's done all this same stuff with her already. So for Laura, everything's fresh and new and exciting, but for Peter, it's just the 10th time he's taken a girl to this restaurant, or probably like the 500th time he said something like, "I've never met a girl like you before."
So I saw on your story that you went to Cardona's this weekend. Classic Kavinsky. You know, by the time we broke up, I actually thought I was gonna die if I had any more cacio e pepe.
When Peter and I got together, I didn't expect to feel so insecure about his past relationship with Jen. But for every first I was having with him, he'd already had his with her.
Which, you know, it's really one of the biggest changes about dating when you're younger versus when you get up to around my age. You know, like when you're in your teens or early 20s or whatever, like everything is new and exciting and it's like, oh, he texted me good night? It's like I'm a Disney princess. But then you get to your late 20s, into your 30s and beyond, and dating just turns into both of you sitting there like, all right, so how messed up are you? Anyway, so to pad out her upcoming college applications with things that no one will actually care about, Laura Jean volunteers to help out at this like super rich retirement home. But when she gets there, she's in for a little surprise.
Okay. Lara Jean Covey.
Yeah, that's me.
Welcome. We're just waiting for one more.
Oh, I thought that I was the only one who signed up.
From Ether, yes, but we have a young man from Portsmouth. His name is
John Ambrose McLaren.
So yeah, thanks to the magic of Hollywood happenstance, Laura Jean and John Ambrose both volunteered at the same place at the same time, and so now they get to talk about Laura Jean's little 6th grade love letter, and we get to know exactly what kind of guy John is.
I'll bring you the letter on one condition. Okay, you have to return it after you read it. I need proof that someone actually liked me in middle school.
Are you kidding? Everyone liked you in middle school.
I didn't really care about everyone.
Anyway, so thanks to John over here doing his little Twilight impression or whatever that was supposed to be, Laura Jean finds herself even more conflicted about dating Peter. Because now there's this John guy who she hasn't seen in like 5 years or whatever, and he smiled at her while they were doing bingo, okay? So like, what is she supposed to do? Not to mention, Peter's so popular at school, he gets like hundreds of Valentines from every girl.
Dude, you got spammed.
Oh my God, I don't even know half these people are.
I think it's the girls' soccer team, right?
Is Lisa Kelly? Yeah, she's nice, dude. I like her.
But then, wouldn't you know, he gives Laura a necklace for Valentine's Day and writes her this little poem thing that goes like, You have a face, and it's good. So what's a girl to do? But at the same time, she's spending almost every Saturday with John Ambrose at the retirement home, and she's starting to realize that it's much easier to talk to him and just be herself. So much so, in fact, she kind of sort of maybe forgets to tell him that Peter's her boyfriend.
Speaking of Peter Kavinsky, he told me to tell you he says hi.
Oh, cool. You guys still hang out?
We do, actually.
Are he and Jen still together? I mean, they must be, since you all still hang out.
No, actually, Jen and I aren't really friends anymore, and she and Peter broke up.
Makes sense. No one really stays together in high school anyway.
So they get to talking about the good old days, and John mentions a time capsule they all buried sometime back in middle school, and so they decide to go dig it up just for the heck of it. Now, they invite everyone who was there at the time, except Jen, for obvious reasons. But when the day comes, would you believe Jen shows up anyway because Peter invited her, like an idiot. So then they have a pizza party and open up the time capsule, and it's full of all these memories of when Laura was in love with John, Peter and Jen were still together, and everything's just wonderfully awkward. Now, as you might expect, Peter starts to pick up on John being a little too friendly with Laura, and that's when the truth comes out.
I can stick around and help you clean up if you want.
I got it.
Let's do it. It's cool. I mean, I kind of help make the mess. It's fine.
I think I can handle helping my girlfriend clean up.
So after John leaves, it's just Peter and Laura Jean. And between Laura purposely not telling John about Peter and Peter inviting his ex-girlfriend to his current girlfriend's little get-together, yeah, I guess you could say things are going pretty good.
If he brings the pizza, then it looks like you two threw the party. You can't do that.
So, like inviting your ex-girlfriend to your current girlfriend's party.
I did not invite her. Might have mentioned it.
Oh, yeah? When? So we're going around in circles.
Yeah, well, it's not supposed to be like this.
Does that mean you want to break up?
But then they stop and hug it out and everything's fine.
Or is it?
So later on, Laura Jean decides that she's gonna go be a good girlfriend, whatever that means, and dress up to support Peter at his sports thing. But when she shows up to watch him get on the bus, I guess, her friend Chris shows her a picture she took of Peter and Jen behind the school, getting a little, you know what I'm saying? And that's when the Mentos of pent-up emotions falls into the Coca-Cola that is Laura Jean, and she just kinda and heads on over to tell Peter what's what.
Were you with Jen today?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
There's some things happening with her mom and her dad.
She's trying to prove to you that no matter what is going on in your life, when she calls, you come running.
So this goes on for a while, and as these kinds of arguments always seem to go, the conversation suddenly shifts over to something like kinda tangentially related. Now, if you remember back in the first movie, there was this part where Laura Jean gets in a hot tub with Peter at the ski trip thing or whatever, and Jen filmed them and put the video online. Anyway, so somehow this becomes the topic of the argument.
Can we please talk about this later?
How did she know? That night, I said I was going to bed, and Jen knew exactly where you were. How did she know? You were waiting at the hot tub for her, weren't you?
Okay, Laura, hold on a second here. Now, I'm not 100% on Peter's side either, but I mean, you were kind of sort of fake dating Peter because you had a crush on a totally different guy, and you were just using Peter to lie to your sister, so I'm not sure you have the moral high ground at this particular moment. Anyway, then the unthinkable happens.
You should go.
Don't do this.
Go.
No, we promised that we were not going to break each other's hearts.
Yeah, well, I think that we both made promises we couldn't keep.
Well, I'm shocked. Who could have ever seen this coming? So then we get the inevitable breakup montage where Laura Jean just kind of lays in bed all day or floats around the school, as one does. And all the things that used to spark joy just don't anymore, like Ninja Turtle SpaghettiOs or when the girls on The Bachelor go off on a 5-minute tirade that makes no sense whatsoever. But after moping around for a while, Laura Jean finally understands why she was so insecure about being with Peter, and so she meets up with Jen to have a little talk.
I guess you know Peter and I broke up.
Yep, I heard something about that.
Part of the reason was because when he was with me, I always thought he was thinking about you.
I'm sorry. I mean, just if you're worried about a guy thinking about other girls, don't be, all right? As a guy, I'll tell you, 95% of the time, I'm not thinking about anything. I mean, heck, half the time my brain doesn't even work. Anyway, so sometime after this, Laura Jean and John Ambrose are putting on this like star ball dance party thing at the retirement home. And so, of course, they both dress up and, you know, John's like, whoa. And then Laura Jean's like, whoa. And then for some reason, they go outside to play in the snow. And you'll never guess what happens. But something in the back of Laura Jean's mind just doesn't feel right, so she runs back inside and comes to a shocking realization.
Laura Jean, are you all right, honey?
We kissed, but I wanted him to be someone else.
Well, Laura Jean, you know, that's just one of those things every girl goes through where you're making out with someone and then you open your eyes and, crap, what have I done? Well, looks like I gotta put $1 in the questionable decisions I made at 1:30 in the morning jar again. But anyway, so for some reason, she realizes that the guy she actually wants to be with is Peter, even though there's like no upside to that I can think of. So she's like,
it's muffin time!
And runs out to go find Peter. But guess who she sees standing right there, just right outside the door waiting for her?
Break my heart, Covey. Break my heart into 1,000 pieces. Do whatever you want.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Where's this conversation going? Break my heart into 1,000 pieces. Do whatever you want. Just put these on and step on me. What? But anyway, so Laura Jean says,
I love you.
And then Peter's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then they just kind of blah, 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 blah for a while, and that's how the movie ends. But like, Laura Jean's decision about who she ends up with or whatever makes no sense. Throughout the whole movie, Peter and Laura are just right on the edge of breaking up constantly. Now, of course, I didn't cover every single thing, so you have to watch it for yourself, but every time we see them together, they're arguing about something, or Peter did something wrong, or lied about whatever. And then when Laura Jean hangs out with John Ambrose, it's like everything's wonderful, she can just be herself, they have so much in common, he plays the piano, come on.
I'm perfectly happy in my relationship with Peter. It's just like the stuff that I was telling you about, like the overthinking. That doesn't happen when I'm with John Ambrose. It's like easy.
Like, the way the movie portrays Laura's relationship with these two, it's completely bizarre that she would end up with Peter at the end. All he does is just kind of be a bad boyfriend and then magically make everything better with some random cheesy line. And this is their entire relationship. No growth, no bonding over anything, just stuck in a constant loop. But you know, to be fair, the first movie was about Laura Jean using Peter so she could lie to her sister and her sister's ex-boyfriend. And then this movie is about Laura dating one guy while leading another guy on and basically just lying to both of them the whole time. So between you and me, it's starting to sound like Laura Jean over here might be kind of not so great of a person, you know what I'm saying? But all the same, a third movie's already been filmed and should be coming out relatively soon, so I guess we'll see what happens. So like I said back at the beginning of the video, the first To All the Boys movie came out about a year and a half ago or so. I mean, it was kind of cheesy and kind of dumb in its own way, but I really liked it for a couple of reasons, but mainly because Laura Jean as a character I thought was really kind of realistic, I guess, or relatable, or like I felt like I knew girls like her when I was in high school. And something the first movie did really well is it kind of subverted a lot of rom-com tropes and things like that. Like it kind of took what you thought was going to happen or what type of characters they usually are and kind of like did things a little bit different. It was enjoyable enough and it had enough going for it that I was like, okay, this is actually not so bad. And watching this movie, the second one now, this movie just felt like a very basic teen rom-com, you know what I mean? Like the first movie had the whole like, oh, pretending to date, and then it was her older sister's ex-boyfriend that she had a crush on, but she has to pretend like she doesn't, and there's like a whole lot kind of going on there. And then of course Laura Jean as a character, right, she was obsessed with movies and books. That was her character, and in this movie, like all of that's gone. And even just the setup of the movie is she has a boyfriend, but she likes another guy. Who will she choose? I mean, this is like the most Hallmark Channel, most basic storyline, you know what I mean? And I'm sure the book is different, or at least goes into more detail, like what happened to Josh, for example. Like I'm sure that's all in the book somewhere, but it's not like a terrible, unwatchable mess, but it doesn't have any of that special, like, flavor, special seasoning, or whatever you want to call it. I felt like if they had done kind of like 500 Days of Summer, but just reversed, where Laura Jean's the one with all these expectations that she's built up over the years of watching these movies, and then she kind of sees her whole world kind of shatter around her, and it's like, oh, none of that's true. I don't know, I felt like they could have done it differently and had it be better. Again, maybe the book is different. I'm sure the book goes into more detail, but at least for this movie, for me, it just felt very mediocre. But either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I spent a long time on it, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss any videos from me. Follow my dog Charlie on Instagram, Charlie Meets Pumpkin. Follow me on Twitter. Let me know what was your favorite part of the video, or if you agree or disagree, or just say hi, that's fine too. And above all else, everybody have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.